Hello and welcome to another Top StarCraft broadcast. I am Top Madness, the voice of Top StarCraft, and I'm bringing to you a really cool game fresh off the GoSuGamers.net website. The players, it's going to be a TVT. Our first Terran is LiquidJinro, the very impressive, very fun to watch Terran from, he's, I believe, German, so I will say Germany. But he's definitely from Europe. He's very, very awesome. He did really, really well in this last GSL, and I'm super excited to watch him. He's playing against the Emperor, one of the greatest Terrans of all time, SlayerSBoxer, that is him. And he's was a very incredible. He was the greatest Terran to grace StarCraft 1. He's back in StarCraft 2, a little different play style, not quite as innovative as he used to be, but still very, very cool, very fun to watch. So I should probably start this game because I always forget to, and then I keep talking for a while. Again, the map, I should probably talk about it. It's Blistering Sands. My absolutely least favorite map ever is Terran. And that is because of these backdoor rocks right here, and the long, long, long distance over here to your first choke point, and then even your second one to take your natural, is just ridiculously long if you're trying to defend, getting from there all the way back. But if you're trying to attack, just bouncing from there to there is very, very short, which makes it very hard to defend your natural and your main at the same time. Let's pop back into the bases real fast. See what's going on. Absolutely nothing because the game just started. So I guess I should talk a little bit about what's going on in Top StarCraft land because that's important. So my roommate and I have now officially moved back into our dorm. I will be casting lots more. We're putting the computer together. There are some parts that are unfortunately really, really late. So probably another week to 3 weeks. I don't know. That's what they said with the shipping. I'm not too thrilled, but take what we can get. I'm just glad to have a computer that will be completely awesome, completely functional, and allow me to cast. So why did I going down here for Jinro? Very standard, exact same position for Boxer. Obviously, that is the place to put your depot now. You're not, not putting it right here. Everybody used to drop their Slay depots right there, but now it's a little farther. Barracks, a little on the way towards your natural, towards your ramp, stuff like that. I'd like you to note the position of these two Xel'Naga watchtowers and the ramps leading up to them. It actually means that it kind of creates a yin-yang with the with your player's vision, because even though this tower is much closer to Boxer, he'd have to go all the way around this side to try to get there. Oop, a little too sensitive here. Try to go all the way around this side to try to get there. Whereas the other tower, let's pop over here real fast before the scout gets there, is much straighter shot. It's much easier to get to. A lot of times you will see players actually break down. Oh, where are we? Oh, not paying attention, Matt. We'll break down these backdoor rocks right here, just so they can get an easier path to go attack the opponent's gold. The gold expansion's very cool here, but very easy to shell from up on top of this ledge right here. Scout coming in from Jinro, being forced out by Boxer's Marine. A very early command center coming down here. 1 Rax FE build from SlayerSBoxer, and looks like Jinro rolling out. He's probably going to put some kind of pressure on. He needs to do something because Boxer has dropped that expansion first. Factory going down. I would assume a 1-1-1 build, maybe some Banshees, but possibly Hellion Harass. Hellions are very good against Marines, which we know are one of Boxer's favorite units from StarCraft 1. Boxer became the new, Marine King Prime. But Boxer still loves his Marines very, very much. Check this expansion real fast. Getting there, about halfway done. Jinro, again, a very, very good turn play. It's very systematic. So Marine Tank definitely suits him as a build, but to me, it looks like we might see a very early drop. We got Reactors, going to get a lot of Marines here. So both players definitely big fans of the Marines. Jinro dropping his expansion right here. It's going to be definitely later than Boxer's, but he wants to make sure he keeps up with the macro. Doesn't want to fall very far behind because that can be very detrimental in TVT. Any little advantage easily exploited, especially when it comes to your tank count. You got to get that gas, so not having the expansion is going to be a big deal. Going up here to Boxer's base, and he's dropping more barracks. Generally speaking, as soon as you do that 1 Rax FE, you got to drop 2 or 3 more barracks because you got to have the units to defend it. A very early push from Jinro could have been very damaging. Another barracks coming down. 5 barracks now for Boxer. But I don't think we're going to see a real early push here from Jinro. Looks like we're getting a tech lab on our barracks. Probably for Stimpack. Marauders are also very good in TVT. They can really break those tank lines, stuff like that. Hellion Harass will be coming out for Jinro. As you can see, scurrying across the map. Hellions are so good. Oh, I am lagging right now. What did I hit? Strange. Oh, you know what I did? I turned my sound off. So, turned my music off, but that's okay. Yeah, we don't need it. It reset. Great. So, Hellions are great against Marines, but not this many. But Boxer, very nice with the micro, keeping those Marines safe. But Jinro is going to get some free pot shots. The Marines not wanting to engage. Here we go. Free Marines. Num, 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 num. Getting crispy fried, roasted away, and floating away. Not really what you want to see if you're Boxer. He's now splitting up his Marines. You got to do the cutting. Spread apart. They're a lot like Banelings, only it's line damage. So, Boxer knows what he's doing. Keep them safe. Hellions coming in here for another poke against Boxer's Marines. Easily repelled at this point. It's just, it's becoming not as effective for Jinro. Not what he needs to do. He needs to back out, save his forces. Boxer scanning Jinro, seeing he's got the expansion down, knowing he needs to clear out. He's going to start moving. Going to try to capitalize on his advantage. Jinro not having a lot of forces, spending more into his tech, stuff like that. Again, lots of Marines. More still Hellions coming out. Infernal Preigniter, very, very, very good against the Marines. They roast them away so quickly. More factories coming out from Jinro. Definitely going to see a transition into mass tanks here. I need to drink because talking too fast is never good for your throat. Delicious. Oop. Looks like Jinro may actually be in a fair amount of trouble. This is a good force of Marines, however. With the Preigniter finishing, definitely Hellions can hold them off. No big deal. Looks like we got an armory coming down somewhere right back here for Jinro, so probably going to see some tanks, get those upgrades. They do it so much damage. Back at Boxer's base, tons and tons of barracks. Finally a factory going, but that's the first one. Hellions coming in here, trying to do some more damage. See, the blue flame is ridiculously good against Marines. Not what Boxer needs to be doing with. Terrible damage from Jinro at this point. Boxer needs to figure something out. So many Marines just getting roasted away for absolutely no cost. He needs some bunkers. He needs something to fortify his Marines because they are very, very vulnerable. All these Marines getting roasted. Just terrible damage. He may have to pull SCVs. He's in a lot of trouble. A Marauder finally coming out, but engaging the Marines and not the Hellions. Not what you want. A big trouble here for SlayerSBoxer. Obviously, needing something to hold off this push from Jinro. Having to pull the SV is something you never want to do as a Terran player, especially with Blue Flame Hellions. They are so very good against workers. Jinro continuously streaming units, but I'd like you to note, always teching, always upgrading, always cool. It looks like Boxer in a lot of trouble. These Marauders, however, are going to be able to end up cleaning this out. Marauders so very good against Hellions as they do absolutely no damage to the Marauders, and Marauders are just super cool. They also have the concussive shells. I'd like you to note, very good upgrade. You don't see it very much in TVT. It's just not important to slow a tank because you can catch them anyways. But it's good very early game, like as you saw, not letting those Hellions escape, especially with the Hellion and Marine build we're seeing here from LiquidJinro. Going back to his base real fast. Looking, factories, obviously important. Again, the tanks, so crucial. Siege mode on the way as well. And a starport coming down from Medivacs, obviously, to reinforce his Marines. But also, he needs the Vikings. Tank wars are, it's a battle of attrition. You gotta rule the skies because you gotta abuse the tank's 13 range. I mean, they can only see, I think it's like 8 or 9. But, so the tank can shoot a lot farther than it can see. So if you're going to abuse that, you're gonna use that position, use that distance. You got to have the Vikings to hold, to hold the other opponent back, so you can just shell them for free. It's the way you do it. It's the way you play TVT. And I assume both these players are going to go, heavy tank builds, because honestly, that's how you win. How you win TVT games. You don't really see anything cool. Oh, hi OTL. I will respond to you. And yes, I will continue casting because that is what I'm doing right now. Jinro, again, lots of Hellions, tanks starting to come out. He's looking to get an expansion here relatively soon. It is, again, about the 11-minute mark, about 13 or 14. Definitely look for an expansion to be floating into place. I like seeing him breaking these gold rocks. Here we go, right on cue. Jinro with the tanks breaking down those gold rocks. Also checking Boxer's gold expansion to make sure. no ninja gold expands here. Sensor tower coming up, very underused in any Terran game, especially against Zerg. With the Mulists flying around everywhere, it's nice to know where they are. But again, TVT is great. With the tanks being all set up, you really can't afford to walk your bio into a big group of tanks. So it's nice to see where they're going. Looks like we're going to see a little engagement here. Boxer taking the tower and having good sight. However, these tanks can decimate his army if he stays up there and a scan goes off. Coming around Hellion in a lot of trouble. Concussive Shell's actually proving their worth. I mean, once again, it's one of those upgrades that is just, it's so good. It's 50-50. It's really fast, and it's really, really good. Cloak Banshee's on the way from LiquidJinro. Very, very good way to break those tank stalemates. You can, if you can rule the air again, you gotta have the Vikings first. But if you control the skies, man, your Cloak Banshees can pick off these tanks for free, and they are so expensive. It's so important. So very important that you can hold off. Jinro being forced to reposition to move back. Boxer, no tanks yet. Again, his factory was delayed. He was going very heavy bio. Looks like he's loading up for a drop here. Always a good idea. You know, Terran, you don't really want to run into these siege lines, but it's great to go around. He's scouting out with his factory, seeing what's going on. Actually may accidentally alert Jinro to where he's going. As I was saying, 13 minutes, there's the factory, or not the factory, I'm sorry, there's the command center, ready to float in. He's got to be very, very careful about these dropships because they could be in a lot of trouble. They're definitely not going to get out because all these units streaming in, just not what you want. Not a really great drop position, I would say, for Boxer. He's kind of vulnerable. Definitely a little rough if you are SlayerSBoxer. Jinro doing a good job following it around with all these Hellions. But he's got to be careful. He could actually drop right up into the main. Boxer doing a good job harassing, making Jinro move, making Jinro think, because you got to keep him on his toes. Actually, hardly any anti-air here from LiquidJinro. He needs some Vikings to be taking off these drops, to be controlling, controlling where Boxer can and can't go. Boxer scooting around the outside, trying to get these dropships out of here, but this missile turret may get one of those. Oh, there goes one of the medevacs. A bad place if you are in one of Boxer's medevacs. I'm sure they're just going to camp out back here. Nope, let's see where they're going. Going to try to escape over to this side. We will see. But Jinro, man, having to run circles through his base, and Boxer just macro. Broken down these rocks. He needs to kill that Marine because Jinro can actually spot when Boxer is going to move out, when he's going to drop his command center. However, Jinro, pretty much the same time, looking to secure his gold. It is about that time of game. A drop here from Boxer, forced to drop his units, completely loses everything. Not really what you want from a drop. You want to be able to get in there, do some damage, and get out. Unfortunately, Boxer was pinned in by the missile turrets and ended up losing all those units. Check back the production tab real fast. We got vehicle weapons level 2 on the way from Jinro. And looks like he may actually lose this factory. The scouting factory is so very, very nice. If you're a Terran player, you're looking to know what's going on because they have a ton of health. And, pretty good armor. They have 1 armor. But here's where we see the Cloak Banshee could come into play. However, there are no tanks in this mix for SlayerSBoxer. It's actually working very well because he's being very, very careful with how he approaches these tank lines. If he were to move in, he would be absolutely decimated. That Cloak Banshee goes down the Vikings doing their job. This is how you play standard TVT. Get the Marauders, get the Marines, get the Medevacs, get those Vikings. You got to rule this guys. I would like to see some more tanks. I find it a little strange that there are absolutely no tanks here. We're going to see a transition here, hopefully, sometime soon, from Boxer, because honestly, Marines and Marauders are very, very awesome, but siege tanks are super effective against your Marine Marauder army. And Jinro setting up a wall of siege tanks to hold SlayerSBoxer back. He's got the planetary fortress coming down here at his gold, and it is already saturated. Boxer just now, oopsies, floating his command center over here. I'm sure it will be a planetary fortress as well. He needs to secure his gold. He cannot fall behind. That is absolutely necessary, again, in TVT. And this Marine is going to escape. I did not notice that last time I watched the replay because I sped through it because I wanted to know what was going to happen. So I didn't miss anything really cool. Checking back on the mini-map here. Looks like Jinro moving out again. See the Vikings, so important. You see Vikings all across the map, everywhere, just seeing what's going on. Especially if Boxer can pick off a few of those Cloak Banshees, because those are very, very annoying when you have tank play. However, Jinro not really having anything to attack right now, as Boxer just not really making tanks, and that's working out pretty good. Looks like a really bad place for Boxer to engage. He could lose a bunch of forces, but pulling back just in time. A lot of Marauders here from Boxer. Definitely an interesting take on the TVT. You rarely see mass bio because siege tanks, again, are so good. I mean, 41 damage with the splash, 60 plus armor. They just wreck bio units. Jinro being a little greedy, trying to take that 4th expansion a little ahead of time. It looks like Boxer's going to sniff that out relatively soon here if he moves out. But it looks like at the same time, Jinro moving into position to siege up on Boxer's gold expansion. Really no forces here. Boxer moving in and misses the command center being built. He did not have a chance to, but he did force the cancel. Did not get to kill it. Here's the command center being built right here.